Start with the name of Allah, who's the most merciful and grateful. Dear students of class second year, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome you in Pakistan International School Taif's virtual learning system. Dear students, today we have English lecture number 16, and this is grade second year. And you know we have already started the unit 3, and today we are going to learn reading selection 3.3. Dear students, today we have the poem If. The writer is Rudyard Kipling, and I'm your teacher, Sarfraz Nadeem. Dear students, in last lecture, we completed the reading selection 3.2. It was Linguin George, and a man should never leave his post. Tu Peng Chang was the writer. So now we have selection 3.3, and as I told you, this is a poem If. So let's start. We have pre-reading about the poem If. The poet in this poem advises his son to be an enthusiastic young man. He tells his son that if he is truthful, studious, steadfast, and resourceful, then this earth and everything is in it for him, and he will be a successful man. Dear student, this is the pre-reading. I think you understand that what the poem is about, and father is advising to his son to be an enthusiastic young man, and he tells his son that if he is truthful and studious, steadfast and resourceful, then this earth and everything is in the earth are for him, and he will be a successful man. About the poet, dear students, we will learn here about the poet. As I told you, the Rudyard Kipling from 1865 to 1936 was born in Bombay, India. His father was a curator of the Lahore Museum. Curator means, dear students, who maintain the record of the museum like this. He went to school in England and returned to India as a journalist in 1882. He achieved rapid fame as a poet and short story writer in England. He was the first Englishman to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1907. His two jungle books, 1894-1895, are set in Indian jungle, and Kim, a novel, is set in pre-partition Lahore. This is the page preview, dear students. We are on page number 109, and this is a poem which is in our English textbook. So let's start the reading of this poem. Poem If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. Now, dear students, in this poem, the poet says that a person who does not lose his balance of mind in the time of trouble and crisis is indeed a great person. Such a person remains calm and quiet while all around him lose their heart and make him responsible for their failure. A person of such great qualities believes in his own abilities and is not affected by the doubtful behavior of his adversaries. He extends forgiveness to those who are against him. Dear students, definitely I will try to explain the stanza, and every stanza I will try to explain before you. Second, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being light about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. Here in this stanza, dear students, in these lines, the poet says that a person is very great who waits for the desire result, and does not feel impatience. Such a person does not tell lies, even though others spread false news about him. He does not hate those who develop hatred against him. Moreover, he does not make a show of his goodness or wisdom before others. We have, dear students, stanza number 3. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. In these lines, the poet says one should have the courage to hear one's statements modified by selfish people for deceiving others. That person's in fact very great who can bear the loss of those dear things which he had built by sacrificing several years of his life. Such a great person does not lose courage. He starts building those broken things with the help of his old tools and great patience. If you can bear to hear the truth you have spoken, twisted by knaves, to make a trip for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build him with worn out tools. Dear students, in this stanza, it is explains that first of all in the stanza number 4, it is that in these lines the poet says that a great person is one who dreams or hopes for the better, but he does not let himself be a slave to his desires. Such a person treats victory and defeat like both victory and defeat are false, and he does not trust them. And same in the stanza number 5, that one should have the courage to hear one's statements modified by selfish people for deceiving others. That person is in fact very great who can bear the loss of those dear things which he had built by the sacrificing several years of his life. Such a great person does not lose courage. He starts building those broken things with the help of his old tools with great patience. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. Dear students, here in this stanza, in these lines, the poet says that a great person has the patience to risk all the money he has won in a game of chance for one big achievement. In case of losing all the earning, he does not lose his courage. He bears the loss with great courage. He begins new efforts to make for his loss without uttering a word of complaint about it. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. In these lines, the poet says that a really great person has a strong willpower, dear students. He can make use of his courage, nerve systems, and muscular strength long after they have lost their efficiency. By his willpower, he is able to keep his nervous system and muscular strength working and active. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much. In these lines, The poet says that if a person mixes with the common people and does not lose his moral goodness, or walks with kings and does not change his attitude by becoming proud, is really a great person. Such a person can neither be harmed by his deadly enemies nor by his so called sincere and dear friends. He is a very reliable person, but he takes great care and does not trust people blindly. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. In the last stanza, dear students, in the last stanza, poet says, poet addresses his son and tells him that time never was, time never waits for anyone. He advises him to make a useful use of every second of a minute. If he is able to do so, he will becoming the master of the universe as well as all those things that it contains. Moreover, he will become a great man in the real sense of the word. So, dear students, after the explanation of every stanza, I hope that you understood the poem properly, and I think it would be easy for you to write anything, like if there is any explanation, any paraphrasing, any theme or central idea. If there is a question about it, I think it will be very easy for you to write. So if you have any query, any problem regarding the poem, you can ask me, dear students. I'm here. And the language, understanding the poem is also on your page 110. Understanding the poems, and let's try to figure out the structure of this poem. You should have already noticed that there are lots of ifs in this poem. One of the most important words in the English language and in life too. If you can fulfill all these conditions, the earth belongs to you and everything that's in it. And most important, you will be a man. So, dear students, I think the poet lists many qualities of maturity which he believes make certain adults superior to others. Select those characteristics that if you feel are the most important and explain which way you feel. The poet believes that these values must be understood by all young people who wish to become truly adult. So, dear students, these are the qualities in the poem, and we have now the central idea of the theme of the poem. The central idea theme of the poem is that success comes from self-control and a true sense of the values of things. In extremes lies danger. A man must not lose heart because of doubts or opposition. Yet he must do his best to see the grounds for both. He must not be deceived into thinking either triumph or disaster final. He must use each wisely and push on. In all things, he must hold to the golden mean. If he does, he will own the world, and even better, for his personal reward, he will attain the full stature of manhood. So, dear students, this is all about the poem, and central idea you have the about the poet, the introduction about the poet, and then we have explained the each stanza for you. And even if you have any query, any problem, you can ask on Zoom uh, question answer session. Dear students, we have a language study over here. A sentence that has an if is called a conditional sentence. And this is very easy for you to understand, dear students. If is always used in a conditional sentences. If you will do this, then I will be here. If you will this, like this. There are three types of conditional in the English language. The first, the second, and the third conditional. First, what is, if you work hard, you will earn good grades. It's likely you will work hard. Hence, this reminder, this suggestion is there. If you work hard, you will earn good grades. Second, if you worked hard, you would earn good grades. It's not likely you would work hard, but just in case. And third condition is what? If you had worked hard, you would have earned good grades. But unfortunately, you didn't work hard and you didn't earn good grades. So which conditional has the poet used in this poem? He think that his son is capable of achieving the virtues or not? And write 5 sets of conditional sentence of your own with all the 3 conditions. Dear students, this is work at your home. You can do it, and then you can send it to me. We have, dear students, on page number 112, the phrasal verbs. A phrasal verb is an expression that consists of a lexical verb plus an adverb or a preposition, or both an adverb and a preposition. Some phrasal verbs are formed with adverbs, like words such as away, back, by, down, off, on, or out. Like please sit down. Sit down, it means one verb and adverb. I wish these dogs would go away. Go away is a phrasal verb actually, but it is a mixture, a combination of a verb and adverb. Come back and see us sometime. Also, he broke off a piece of the chocolate and gave it to her. She blew out the candles of a birthday cake. After the storm passed, the wind gradually died down. Some phrasal verbs, dear students, are formed with the prepositions. First were with the verb, adverb, and few prepositions like ate, by, for, into, off, on. The horse suddenly broke into a gallop. I came across a friend of yours the other day. The robbers were making for the frontier. I just asked her how he was feeling and she flew into a rage. So, dear students, few phrasal verbs are with the prepositions, and few phrasal verbs are formed with adverbs and prepositions. Like, I don't know how you put up with. Now, put up is an adverb and with is preposition. Complaining all the time. We wanted to stay longer, but we are running out of money. Running out of money. Now, out and off, running is a verb and out, adverb, and off is preposition. Her son has decided to go in for like this, dear students. So get along with, or go through with, or do away with. These are the phrasal verbs mixed with the adverb as well as prepositions. Noted in phrasal verbs formed with both adverbs and prepositions, the adverb up, out, in, along, through, away always precede the prepositions such with, of, and for. Many phrasal verbs have meaning that can be completely understood from the meaning of the verbs and particles that form them. For example, please come in, quick, run away and hide. How long would it take to drive to London and then drive back? She went out, waited for a moment, then came in again. However, many phrasal verbs have quite unpredictable meanings. Unpredictable meaning means you are not thinking that that would be meaning. For example, when she was late for work for the third day in a row, her boss just blew up, became very angry. Blew up means very angry. I'm off to Japan for my holidays this year, so I must brush up on my Japanese. Yani refresh my knowledge of Japanese. Now here, what is the meaning of brush up on? Means refresh my knowledge. Or John and I get on very well. Yani get on means are friendly. So like this, you can always rely on me to stick up for you, means support. Phrasal verbs formed with prepositions with or without an adverb are always transitive verbs. That is, they always have a direct object. Transitive verbs always takes direct object. Whether it is a noun, pronoun, or phrase, the direct object always follows the prepositions. Like, her mother looks after the children, yani direct object after the children while she is at work. I don't think I could do without coffee. He takes after his father. They both love golf. You can rely on me to stand up for you. Phrasal verbs formed with adverbs alone may be either intransitive or transitive. Fortunately, the rain held off till the match. This is intransitive, dear students. Again, we have, dear students, the exercise. Now, after the understanding of the phrasal verbs combination with an adverb, with preposition, with an adverb and prepositions, we have exercise over here, dear students. And with the help of you people, we will try to solve this exercise over here. So first question example is over. I will not tolerate his rudeness. No, I will not put up dash his rudeness. What will be here in the blank? For, with, or to. I will not put up with his rudeness. So same we have exercise. I don't appreciate opera. So I don't care a dash opera. Now here what would be? For, with, or to. I think it's easy for you people to understand, to change as well. So here will be for. I'm going to underline it like this, for. Or I think, and then second we have like that we all have to obey the rules. We all have to abide dash the rules. To buy in. I think very easy. Buy. Like this. Number three, I think I am catching cold. Like I think I am coming dash with a cold. Here, three options are given: out, down, and up. So what is out? Yes, I think I'm coming out with a cold. Number four, can you suggest a better plan? Can you come dash with a better plan through, down, and up? So what will be here in the number four, dear students? Yes, can you come up? So here we will underline the up. Number five, he received a lot for criticism. He came in dash a lot of criticism. So for, with, or eight. So it is for. Number six, I'm sure she would never break a promise. I'm sure she would never go dash on a promise of, out, or back. So what will be here? Back. Yani it will be like, I'm sure she would never go back on a promise. Number seven, she would never even consider doing such a thing. She would never even think dash doing such a thing. Of, eight, or in. So here it is off. So dear students, here is, sorry, this is off over here. Okay. And we will remove this which we have, which we did over here. So we will try to remove this off. Yes. So dear students, then we have number eight. This situation requires a lot of tact. This situation calls dash a lot of tact, like for, to, with. This is number eight. Very easy, for. And number last, my brother has fallen in love with the girl next door. My brother has fallen dash the girl next door, eight, with, or for. So what will be here in the sentence number nine, dear students? With. Okay. So we have completed, dear students, nine sentences over here. Okay. And remaining sentences, it's your homework. And we have another exercise as well on page number 116 and 117. So you complete this exercise and send it to me at a group, and definitely I will try to check and give you the answer. Dear students, we are here on page number 118, 118 at transitive and intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs, a lexical verb that has a direct object is a transitive verb. Some transitive verbs have both a direct object and an indirect object. Dear students, I will try to explain it again for you that a lexical verb that has a direct object is a transitive verb. Means, as I told you, that the transitive verbs has kind of direct object, and some transitive verbs have both direct as well as indirect. I like dogs. The boys were kicking a ball. Now look, dear students, the boys were kicking. Kicking is an object, a ball is another. Means two objects we have. One is direct and second is indirect. One is direct and second is indirect. Second, they could hear a strange noise. The little girl was wearing a red jersey. Wearing a red jersey means two direct. One is direct and second is indirect object. Can you lend me $1.50? All transitive verbs are action verbs. Now, dear students, all transitive verbs are action verbs, and you know, dear students, transitive verbs are easily to change into the passive. Okay, and if you sometimes you have learned in active and passive, the transitive verbs are easily to change into the passive. The direct object of a transitive verb is the person or thing that is most directly affected by the action or condition described by the verb. For example, the direct object may describe what the subject the verb has, gets, thinks, likes, does something, or does something with. Like, I like dogs. The boys were kicking a ball. He got $5 from his uncle. She hugged him, and foxes eat rabbits, mice, and other small animals. Or what are you holding in your hand? Who did you see? So the direct object of a transitive verb may not always be a noun or a noun phrase. It may sometimes be a clause with another verb in it. Like, I hope you will join us. Second sentence we have, dear students, I like paddling in the sea. We were wondering where you were. And now where you were is kind of a clause because it has a subordinate conjunction, where. So the indirect object of a transitive verb is the person or thing that the direct object is given to, done for. I gave her my book. I gave a book to her, or he bought the children some sweets. He bought some sweets for the children. I would love to show you my garden. I would love to show my garden to you. Like, dear students, here we can say that dear students, that I would love to show on you my garden. Means I would love to show my garden to you. So, dear student, depending on what follows the verb in the sentence, transitive verbs fall into the three different classes: monotransitive, ditransitive, and complex transitive verbs. Monotransitive verbs have only one object, and it's called a direct object only. Like, I know the answer. I need a new dictionary. He cut himself. And ditransitive verbs have two objects, a direct object and indirect object. For example, I told, it's a verb. Him, this is indirect object. The answer is the direct object. Now look, I told him the answer. Now him is pronoun and it is indirect object over here, and the answer is direct object. Second, I gave her. Her is what? Indirect object. And my dictionary is a direct object. This is called a ditransitive verbs. And complex transitive verbs have a direct object and a complement, a word or phrase that says something about the direct object. They have painted, yani verb, their house. This is direct object. Purple, complement. Yani they have painted their house purple. So their house is the direct object and purple is what? Complement. So second is aid the. At the first meeting of the committee, they elected Joe chairman. They elected Joe chairman. So these are the dear students. We find your allegations absolutely ludicrous. Or I think she is calling you a lawyer. He calls himself of the king of rock and roll. So when the object of a transitive verb is a reflexive pronoun such as himself, myself, or ourselves, the verb is sometimes called a reflexive verb. He warmed himself at the fire. I cut myself while shaving it this morning. Have you ever asked yourself that question? So these are the called complex transitive verbs. Now we have intransitive verbs, a lexical verb that has neither a complement nor a direct object is an intransitive. Intransitive, those verbs which cannot passive, dear students, like we all laughed. Neither a complement nor a direct object. No direct object is present over here. Not a complement is present over here. Just we all laughed. Laughed is verb, and after the verb, there is nothing, dear students. You can see. Is there anything? No. She speaks with a strong American accent. Are you going with them or are you staying here? A guest should be arriving at any moment. She blushed furiously. So, dear students, these intransitive verbs are those verbs which do not carry an object, other words, and they don't have a clear object otherwise. So, this is, dear students, about the today's topic. We learned about the transitive and intransitive verbs and what are the transitive and what are the intransitive verbs actually. And then also we learned phrasal verbs, how what is the combination of the phrasal verb plus adverb, verb plus adverb and preposition, or sometimes we have a verb and preposition only, like come in, like this. But run away is a verb and adverb. So and she went out is a verb and adverb. So dear students, this is all about today's lecture. And homework is you have exercise one as we completed the 9 sentences today, and the remaining 8 sentences are at your side. So you have to complete from 9 to 15 from exercise A, and in exercise B is totally your homework, and 10 or 12 sentences are over there. Please complete these exercises and send it to me by WhatsApp group, dear students, and let me check and tell you how many students are able to complete their exercise well or correct. So thank you, Joe, so much, dear students, for joining. And it's all about today's lecture. And thank you and goodbye, and have a good day, and Allah Hafiz.